Would you date a bus driver? You. Would you date a
If he
bus
owns
driver?
the bus, if he owns
No.
it, if he owns the bus,
See,
he
that's
owns
a
it.
problem. That's a problem.
Hello, hello, welcome back to my channel. This is The Love Project. My name is Erica and this is my husband Marcus.
How y'all doing?
Hello, how you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Welcome back, welcome back. So, today we will be discussing a hot topic. So, if you all are not aware, there have been a viral video going around of Inyala having an interview with a young lady. I can't recall her name, but she was basically, they were talking about men and dating, and Inyala asked her, would she date a bus driver? And her response was, if he owns the bus. Of course, this sparked a great debate between women and men about just the mindset of women, particularly black women, and their thoughts about dating men, particularly black men, and their expectations. So, I thought this would be a good conversation for both me and my honey to kind of get in on. Of course, we have our thoughts, and so we're going to jump right in. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comment if you agree with either of us, or even both of us, or even if you have a particular stance on this conversation. Be sure to share it in the comments section, and let's talk about it. So, babe,
Yes.
what is your thoughts about this particular situation and just the overall, I guess, mindset of single women desiring to be married in regards to their expectation with dating and kind of finding a particular type of mate?
I mean, of course, it's always good to have your standards,
Mm-hmm.
and have your lists and everything. But you gotta ask yourself, are you being realistic? Sometimes we want so many things, but we're not even getting those things for ourselves. So we want certain figures and making so much amount of money and this type of house, but you live in an apartment.
Well, that's true. That's true. However,
Okay.
I think in this instance, this is a woman who consider herself educated. She feel like she make a certain amount of money.
Okay.
So her standard is actually based on where she is in her life. So I totally agree with the perspective you just gave, and that's usually the case. But a lot of times, that's usually the case with men, because in this space and time, like, black women are the most educated. They are making great money, and they've established lives for themselves.
But
Mm-hmm.
black women also are the most divorced, the most single. Yeah. So that's another topic. So they bosses.
So you feel like this particular mindset has a role to play with the statistics of black women not being married?
Absolutely. I feel like I feel like black women get caught up into the social, as far as media and everything. Whereas other cultures, they're in the media, but they live in regular home lives. And that's the thing, like, sometimes it's personified that a black woman has to be independent, all of this, super, this. But a lot of other women are not necessarily that, but they're getting a lot of stuff that they want. They want to be married. They want the kids. They're in relationships together with a husband.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, when I heard the conversation, that was kind of where I was with it. Like, I totally feel like a woman shouldn't settle. I do believe in having standards. I do believe in kind of, deciding for yourself what you want out of life and what that looks like. However, I'm really big on that being based off characteristics. So when she asked would she marry a bus driver, And she was like, if he owns the bus. My initial thought was that mindset won't get you where you're trying to go. And it's because I'm not saying, settle for a man who, drive the bus versus own the bus. However, I am saying that to disqualify a possible good man because he drive the bus versus own the bus is where I believe we as women, and particularly black women, mess up at. Because the thing about it, if you, like you were saying about the whole reality piece, a man who drives a bus, that means he have a CDL. So if he have a CDL, even if he drive the bus now, even if he been driving the bus for years, he have the tool to become an entrepreneur at any point in time.
That's right.
Because he can go from driving buses to driving trucks, to purchasing his own truck, to starting a trucking company. So, when you take a particular job, like driving a bus or whatever, and automatically assume that this man has no value, that's where I find the problem at. Because I didn't agree with you that when it's all said and done, these are the reasons why as black women we're not married. And for me, I've been in leadership. I've always worked in healthcare. I've been to the meetings. I've been to the conferences. I've been amongst top players, whether it's actual doctors, whether it's people on the board and, CEOs and so on and so forth, right? With these higher up positions. And something I've always noticed is when I got in the room, I'm ring checking, especially when I was single. I was always ring checking. And I will always notice that the white women had the rings and the black women didn't. And every time I would come across a black woman that actually had a ring, she was either older or she had a certain mentality, which wasn't this whole boss chick mentality. And even with white women, like, they have the roles, but they know how to turn it off. That was something that I used to always ask myself, and I feel like I finally got the revelation, like, recently. And babe, this is something we talked about my transition and my attitude from my old job versus my new job. And I will always say how these white women come in here, they can come in a entry level position and they fly up the chain. Of course, one would say they must be sleeping with somebody, so on and so forth. But I realized that it was really their attitude. Like, a white woman would not agree with leadership, but she would not say anything about it. Literally, they walk around and like, okay. And then once the leader is out the room or turn their back, then they have something to say about it. But long as they're in front of their leaders, long as they're, under authority, they are submissive. And they are agreeable. Whereas black women aren't. And I know because I wasn't. Like, I was the one that if I didn't agree with something, I had to let my boss know that I wasn't okay with that. Or I had to give pushback. Or I had to explain my point of view. And I realized that don't go over well. In general, I would say with men, but particularly white men do not like that. They do not like that. And in a sense, they'll blackball you in a way as far as being able to like move up corporately because they're amongst their peers. So don't think that they're not having conversations about you, about your attitude, about your mannerism and, how you, how professional you are or not. And I think that matters, and I think we need to take that in consideration more. And so I say that to say in reference to relationship, I believe it's the same thing. I believe that's why we see white women married more, because they are willing to submit and they are willing to sacrifice whatever they've built, whatever they've accomplished. They will sacrifice that for their husbands. And I'm saying that because literally I will see nurses that will tell you, oh, after next month I'll be taking some time off because my husband wanted me to be home with the kids. Like he don't want, he don't want them with the nannies. Like he want me to be home taking care of the kids. So I'm going to take some time off and, hopefully I'll be back. And it's with ease. Now, mind you, they don't went to school. They don't got the education. They, been nursing for however many years. They could be nursing directors. They could be nursing coordinators. Like, they can actually have real life accomplishments. But it's nothing for them to put that aside for their family. Whereas Black women on the other side is usually sacrificing family, having kids, being married, and all those things to then accomplish those goals.
That's true. I know a lot of leaders, and just by you just talking, I remember one particular leader where when I first started working, Black lady, she was a store manager at the time. She had moved up the ladder, was trying to move up further, left her child somewhere, to be taken care of by someone else. And her goal was just to climb the corporate ladder, but she wasn't married, wasn't in a relationship. So all she thought about was just moving up. And that's cool. I mean, I think the thing is, sometimes I feel like Black women, it's almost a rebellion against a lot of things. Against Black men, against the system, because they have seen so much like disappointment.
Oh, that's good, babe.
Yeah, so it's not always that. So when they come into a situation, it's always, let me try to get as much as I can out of this before it goes south.
Yeah.
Get the bag, get this. It's not really for the long term. And I think the system is teaching, it's not for the, the longevity of a relationship. It's almost like get in, get out before it's too late. So a lot of times you'll come into a situation with a Black female, and it's like the bad will come before the good. Why you acting like this? Well, what if this comes up? What if you do this? It's like almost the negative part will come because they're expecting that to come. So they're almost anticipating for the bad part of a relationship.
So, and as I'm like thinking about this, I don't want it to seem like we not validating the struggle of the Black woman, because baby, I know, and I definitely validate, our struggle, because it is hard. Like, it's hard to, to move up the ladder and just accomplish things. I know, like, for me, I remember in one instance, at work, pretty much, there was some roles that became available, and I didn't have the education for it. Of course, I had the experience, and pretty much it was clear that I could do the job, but I didn't have the education. And before I even pursued the education, I had a leader who wrote in my eval, pretty much top of the line eval, right? Highest score, but there was this one comment that said that I wasn't interested in getting the education. And when I read that, it really bothered me. It bothered me, one, because he never asked. He just assumed. White man. He just assumed that I wasn't interested in getting my education. However, he didn't know me. Like, he didn't know my life. He didn't know my walk. He didn't know why I hadn't pursued my education at this point, or even if I had planned to. And, it really bothered me, because this was something I always wanted to do. However, because of my life, because of my role in my family, there was reasons why I couldn't pursue the education that I wanted to. Even to the extent where I had done put my sister in college, giving her the opportunity that I hadn't even had the opportunity to pursue. So of course it came to a point where I was able to pursue my education, but just the fact that, you know, a person decided for me what they thought I wanted for my future really didn't sit well with me. And, you know, again, it's just to say that when women go and pursue their careers, go and pursue their degrees and stuff, I'm all for it. I'm all for it because it definitely puts you in better positions. However, you can't let it be to the detriment of, like my husband was saying, long term. Every woman's desire mainly is to be married, is to have a family, right? And especially on this channel, you know, we believe in doing things God's way. So they have women who want children and act like they're okay with not being married. If you're a godly woman, you know that marriage should come before children. So if you ain't desiring to be married or with a husband, then how could you have the desire to be a mother? I mean, who want to just sign up to be a single mother? I don't know. But anywho. So, you know, again, it shouldn't be at the detriment of you really having all that God has for you, because you can have it all. You know, you find a loving mate who's going to help you push towards that next level. You can be married, have children, and still go get your degrees.
Absolutely.
Your husband is going to make sure your desires and your dreams is met. He's going to push you to do it. Okay, maybe you need to be home for a couple years while you're raising the children and doing schooling online. But either way it go, he's going to be right there beside you and providing. Again, God gives the man the vision, providing a layout for you of, babe, how can we make sure you accomplish the things you want to accomplish to be who you want to be? Because if he's not supporting you and helping you pursue your goals, then he taking a loss, because you can't be that wife you want to be or that woman you want to be if you feel like you putting what's important to you on the back burner, you know. So I feel like any real man will understand that and want you to accomplish those things. But again, it shouldn't be, well, okay, if I get the job and I get the career and I get the bag, but I will never be married and I will never have a family. It shouldn't be that way, because it's like my husband said, it's not that way for no other race but us. These women, listen, they know that they want to be a doctor, they want to be whatever, right? Their families are pushing them to, you know, make these accomplishments. A lot of white women and Asian women and stuff, this is not what they want to do with their life. They probably have other dreams, but their family are real big on education and, you know, becoming the first in their generation to meet these higher level of careers, whether it's lawyers and doctors and so on and so forth. So while they're pursuing that, they still having them to meet their mates in college. They're not telling them to go be independent and then come back home. No, they still get married. So why we can't still get married? Because society is teaching us to, you can't have it all, or two, you have to settle. And then we have to think about our pick too. Because, again, their colleagues or their peers, it's not the same for black women.
That's true.
Unfortunately, our black men are not in these positions. And it's not to say they're not hardworking, they're not ambitious, they don't have character. They have those things, but they might not be the CEO. And you're gonna just dismiss him. And the ones that is CEOs, they don't want you. They want Becky with the good hair. You get that? You get, wait. Tell the truth. You know why? Because if they're a CEO and all of this, they don't want no woman, black woman, that's a CEO and all of this too. They want a woman that's going to submit to them. They don't want a woman who's going to boss up and be like, no, I'm not quitting my job, and no, I'm not ready to have children, and I'm trying to do this. They don't want that. So they go get a Becky who probably just a receptionist, but they're willing to do whatever they want. They're willing to submit to them. Yeah, support them. Shoot, they leave their job and go be their secretary. And when it's time to have the children that stay home, what they do? Have the children that stay home. They don't want no pushback.
It's all about...
They get enough of that at work. They don't want it at home too.
But a lot of times it's about, I was going to say earlier, it's about investment. Investing in each other. When you have these dreams and you find that mate or that person, it's about the give and take. A lot of times, like, it goes back to where man or woman, if you're coming in just to take and see what you can get, it's not gonna work anyway. So you have to have those, when you meet that person that you feel like you can have a better life with, you gotta sit down and have those discussions on what do you want to do, what your dreams and aspirations are, and how can we accomplish them.
Yeah.
And a time frame.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it's not to say that black men don't want, educated women. They don't want ambitious women. They do want all of that. The only difference is they want you to be willing to then use those skills to build with them and build your family and build a legacy with them. So if it come a point where they don't want you to work, they want you to use them skills at home with their company, having a business or something, I just don't think we are as willing to pivot when it comes to what men deem necessary for marriage and family. And I feel like that's where we lose. That's where we lose at.
I had this discussion with this lady years ago. One of my customers at my store, she was a professor. Older lady, never been married, no children, no nothing. We were just talking, and very educated. And she was like, her biggest thing, if she could go back, would be to get married and have children. That was her biggest thing. She's like, she regrets not being able to do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I am all for uplifting the black woman, and with that, I want to still be able to uplift the black man and not have, unrealistic standards for them, because I don't want them to have unrealistic standards for us. So I think we have to kind of be able to meet in the middle, and really focus on the things that matter. And I believe that is character, leadership, and really, qualities, preferably godly qualities, because I think that's what matters at the end of the day. I know many men, married couples, where the wife is more educated than the husband, and the husband have become his best self. He have become the sole provider of their family, because the wife have been willing to I guess sow her skills, her knowledge, her support into her husband, and now at the end of the day it benefits them as a whole. Because like this African proverb says, you can go faster alone, but you can go further together. And I feel like if we change our mindset, we can really get what we want, the full package of marriage, careers, families, healthy love lives and relationships. When we decide to put one, needs over wants, and two, long-term goals over selfish desires.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's all I got, babe. You got anything you want to add?
No, we said most of it. I don't have much.
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining, per usual. Again, just share your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there anything you would like to add to this? And then we will see you next time.
See y'all next time.
I love ya.